everybody. Welcome to Godly Play Story Time at St. George. My name is Miss Annette, and today I'm going to be telling you the story of Moses, or one of the stories of Moses. So before I get started, if you want to grab your favorite blanket or stuffed animal or both, cuddle up, get cozy, and I will tell you the story. So while you're doing that, I'm going to light a candle. So we can add to the coziness. Okay, so this story takes place in Egypt. And in this story, Moses is a little baby. And so here we have little baby Moses in his crib. So, okay. So, in Egypt there is a new pharaoh. Now there was an old pharaoh who was very good friends with Joseph, who was Moses' great-great-great-great-grandfather, who did all kinds of wonderful things. Now the new pharaoh had forgotten all about those wonderful things. And in the meantime, the Israelites in Egypt were multiplying. They had very big families, they were having many children, and the new pharaoh was so afraid that they were going to take over. He was so afraid that he ordered all of the little babies to be killed. So Moses' mother heard this, and she was so scared and she was so sad, and she wanted to save her baby Moses. And so she decided to hide him. And she took him to the river, and she hid him in the reeds. This is what reeds look like. So she wanted to hide him behind those reeds, and then her mother, and also baby Moses' sister, decided to send him off down the river. Well, wouldn't you know it, who should find baby Moses but the new Pharaoh's daughter, of all people? And she saw little baby Moses, and she decided that she was going to take him home and raise him in the palace where she lived. So she takes care of him, she raises him, and when he's older, he finds out that the Egyptians are being very mean to the Israelites. They're beating them and whipping them. Well, Moses is so upset because the Israelites are his people. And so he ends up killing one of the Egyptians. Well, he also knows that if that new Pharaoh finds out, he will be in big trouble. So he goes off to hide in the desert for a very long time. Well, one day, Moses discovers a burning bush. And here's what the burning bush looks like. It's like a shrub. Well, it's a bush on fire. Now, normally a fire would burn out and there would be no more bush. But this bush just keeps burning and burning and burning, and it never disappears. So Moses pays attention to this bush because it's kind of strange. And guess what? He hears God's voice speaking to him from the burning bush. And you know what the burning bush tells him? Well, what God tells him? God tells Moses to go to Egypt and set the Israelites free. Moses is very worried because, he's hiding in the desert. And so he says to God, well, God, how can I do this? I can't do this. And God says, don't worry, Moses, I'll help you. And Moses says, well, can't you send anybody else? And God says, don't worry, I'll send your brother Aaron to help you. So Moses thinks, well, with the help of God and my brother going along, okay. So he goes back to Egypt, and he talks to the Pharaoh, and he asks the Pharaoh to please set the Israelites free. The Pharaoh says, no, 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 I'm not going to do this. But then some very terrible things happen in Egypt. And so finally the Pharaoh says yes. And so Moses goes to the Israelites and he says, come, gather. I'm going to help set you free. And so he tells them to get ready, gather your things. We're going to escape. We're going to be free. So they go to the sea. Now in the meantime, the Pharaoh changes his mind. What? Yes, he changes his mind. And he sets his armies and their chariots after the Israelites. Well, once Moses gets to the sea, he asks for God's help so they can flee. And God says, hold up your staff. And here's what the staff looks like. And once he holds up the staff and asks for God's help, God parts the sea. And the Israelites escape. And then the Pharaoh sends the Egyptians with their chariots after them. So once again, Moses asks God for help, and God says, hold up your staff. And when he does that, the walls of the sea close all the way on the Egyptians. And the Israelites are set free. And so that is the end of the story for today. And next week, we will tell you more of the story. But in the meantime, I want to hear what you guys wonder about this story. So there's a couple of things that I wonder about. I wonder what Moses' mother thought when she sent her baby down the river. I wonder what she thought. And I also wonder what the Pharaoh's daughter thought when she found him. I wonder also, what did Moses think when he saw this burning bush, and especially when he heard the voice of God talking to him? Oh my goodness. And I also wonder what the Israelites thought. Well, actually, I wonder what they did when they realized they were set free. I wonder, how they celebrated. So those are some of the things I wonder, and I wonder what you guys wonder. And I would love for you guys to draw me a picture, or draw a picture of your favorite part of the story, and share it with your friends or your family, and just tell them, share your picture and tell them why it's your favorite part of the story. All right, I look forward to seeing you next time. Hi everybody, welcome to part 2 of the story of Moses. Before we begin, we're going to say a prayer. So I'm going to light this candle. And I hope you are all cozy. Your blankets. All right. Dear God, thank you so much for your stories, and please help us to listen and learn. Amen. So, part 1 of our story was baby Moses got sent down the river by his sister and his mother to save him from the Pharaoh wanting to kill all the baby boys. And he was raised in the palace by the Pharaoh's daughter. And later he went off into the desert where he saw the burning bush and heard God's voice telling him to rescue the people from Egypt, the Israelites. The seas were parted, they escaped, the seas closed over the Egyptians, and that's where we left off. So the next part of the story, the Israelites are following Moses through the desert for a very long time. They get very hungry and thirsty. And so Moses prays to God, and God gives them manna, which looks like this. And he also gives them quails to eat. Well, the people were very happy to get the food, but they were also very thirsty. So Moses prays to God again, and God says, see this stone? I'll show you the stone. Hit it with your staff, and there will be water. After that, the people find a mountain. This is Mount Sinai. And so Moses goes up the mountain to pray. And while he's up there praying and being close to God, God gives Moses the 10 Commandments, which are also known as the 10 best ways. And this is what the 10 best ways look like on those tablets. Well, in the meantime, Moses is up on the mountain talking to God for a very long time. And so the people get tired of waiting, and they decide to build a golden god to worship in the shape of a calf. When Moses finally comes down from Mount Sinai to show the people the 10 best ways, he sees the golden calf and is very angry, and he throws the tablets on the ground. Well, God is very forgiving, and he forgave the people for building the golden god, and he gives them an ark. I'll show you the ark. And the ark is to put the 10 best ways inside of. And they also build a tent to keep it safe. And Moses goes into the tent to be close to God, and when he comes out, his face is always glowing. So later, after being in the desert for 40 years, the Israelites find another mountain, and they go to the top. And when they are at the top, behold, they see the promised land. But sadly, Moses isn't able to go into the promised land with him, for he dies. And no one knows where he's buried. So that's the end of the story for today. And we have some questions for you, some wonder questions. I wonder what you like best about the story. I wonder what you like least about this story. What do you think is important about the story? Is there anything that could be left out of the story? And what part of the story do you think is about you? And so, for homework today, you can get out your art supplies and just draw a picture of anything that this story makes you think about. All right, we'll see you next time for another story.